Hey everyone, hope you had a good Sunday. I think I found out why it looks still dark in here even though I have these lights on. This light on. Um I think the overhead lights up here went out. So that's why I'm like, wait a minute, it looks gloomy in here. Usually like when I turn on this light, it's brighter in here. So, I don't know, those bulbs went out. I think they've been in here before they moved in, so I don't know. But anyway, I'm about to make some dinner. Just something simple. I have this cheese here, this cheese, and else. And I'm just gonna make a quick pizza, my favorite Trader Joe's item, one of them. And I have the sauce I'm gonna use right here, and of course these. So I'm just letting the oven preheat real quick. Um, but okay, is this fresh? Oh, but okay, so I watched. Hold on, let me put this. Let's just open this. Oh, I watched the rest of. I watched Lionel, which was episode I think 8 of the series. I kind of just skipped through the last 2 episodes because I already kind of know what happens. He got convicted, he went to prison, he got killed in prison. So, um, uh, Lionel was kind of interesting. I didn't know that they were trying to, get him to kind of say he was insane when he did it. His dad was more like, "Come on, everything you were doing, that's abnormal. Like you were murdering the people, you were having sex with their corpses, or like, I think I read somewhere that he even cut a hole into one of the some of the victims, and like penetrated their flesh, and it's like so." Lionel was like, "Come on, think about it here, Jeffrey." Um, but his thing was, and he had already, I think, I'm not sure by that point, he had already confessed to the police already. What he did, that I did these things and everything, and because of the nature of his crimes, what he was doing, of course, any sane person would say that you had to be, not there when you were doing these things. And his whole thing was, "But I'm not, dad," or whatever. And I don't know, you guys know how it is with just watching TV, watching, reading cases. That is, that's kind of a strategy. Like, let's go with you're insane. So then you don't have to go to a prison. You will go to a facility, but it's kind of like still a prison in a way because you're in this place. It's probably a little slightly more lax, but you're still in this place where um you're gonna be put on medication. I don't know. I know in prison you have a choice, or I heard that you have a choice if you want to take medication for your psychiatric things or whatever. But unless maybe you're acting up, I don't know how they do it. But in those facilities, they can like get orders to make you take it and stuff like that. If they feel that you're a danger to people and everything yourself, whatever. They literally, I've seen like documentaries where there's people who are put in, not necessarily, well, they're in a kind of a facility, but it's also like a place where they do like holds on people. So there's a mixture of people that are having holds, and then there's a mixture of people who are in there for a little longer, and it's usually people who like maybe they had a stand up with the police and they were like, kill me, blah blah blah, or like they were threatening to jump out of a window or something. So they have them in there, or they were at school and they just college and they just had a break there, a psychiatric break, and so some of them will say, I don't want to take these medications because they do something to my mind and this and that. They really don't want to be on them, even though maybe they know, in a sense, they can function better when they are. But obviously, if you just know even just the basics about psychiatric medications, like some pills affect people different, and they also have their own other side effects that some people cannot deal with, like sexual side effects, where you may not have the desire, or you can't basically get off, or they could have side effects that, like, um, what's another one? I'm trying to think of, like, headaches, obviously, constipation. There's different ones, but those are usually, you kind of know it kind of goes with it, so you kind of try to just be like, like, I'm still, as far as my situation, just for a side note, I'm still thinking about whether I should talk to my doctor or not about it tomorrow, because, I ate breakfast this morning. I had, like, after I got off the video, I had another cup of coffee, because that coffee is really good. I might make some right now, actually. I had another cup of coffee, and I haven't really felt it since then. So I don't know. But when I was starting to do my weekly, like, fill the container thing, I just put two, because I was like, I'm gonna see what it's like just to go without the third one. But um, I don't know, you guys, because it's like, um, yeah, like I said, it was bad. It is bad waking up with them. So I'm gonna do a test and, like, not take the third one tomorrow morning, and then if I don't wake up with a headache, then I kind of am gonna start noticing that, yeah, it's connected with that. And I'm just gonna see how I start feeling or whatever. If I feel like, oh, I'm starting to just feel sad again, or just whatever, um just not basically, like now, like how I've been feeling again, then I may have to just see what I can do, and with that whole situation, because I don't know, you guys. I was reading up on the med, and, like, it was just saying how, gas a powerful one and everything. So my dose isn't that high, though, so I don't know, but that's what I'm saying, is that you have to kind of weigh what the good is and everything in your own mind. But when you're in that kind of facility, if they deem that, I never been in one of those, but I just know people who have, like, had to go in one, and just, different situations with that people are, told me about and everything. And if they feel you need it, they will, like, make you be on it. They can get a court order against you, make you go to court. And, like, they showed people, like, I was watching this documentary, and the people were like, I feel fine now, and blah blah blah. And then they had the people on behalf of the facility that were like, no, this person's been doing this, that, and the other. And some of the cases, the people won, and then some of the people, a lot of the cases, obviously the facility won, because the person, and then some, I think one, he actually got out. And then because those aren't the ones where you're, like, held there for criminal reasons. It's like you're held there because you're deemed not safe for yourself or others. But where Jeffrey would have went if he was found insane was, he would have went to, like, a a place where, I think, it's a place, I think one of the places that's near here is I think it's in, where Morongo Casino, is it Morongo? Morongo Casino is, I think it's called Patton. I think that's a facility like that. And Atascadero, I think, is like that. I'm not sure. I don't know the exact facilities, but I think there is one near Morongo Casino. Um, Not Morongo, San Manuel. Oh yeah, yeah. Which one's the one that's, like, okay, Morongo's going towards Palm Springs and all that, like, past, like, Beaumont and all the Redlands, all that. And yeah, I think that's Morongo. Oh my god, I used to go to these places all the time with my mom, like, and going to Palm Springs and stuff. I can't remember what the one that is off the freeway. I think it's Morongo. And Samuel's the one that's me and Lorna went with our dads, and then I'd been there I think once or twice before that, but we went there on a bus, one of those buses. Before the one it's in Highland, I think. Okay, there are some places near there that I think they put criminally insane people, and like that's because my friend's mom works there, and she said one of the people there put their baby in an oven. She was found criminally insane, like when she did it and everything. And typically, if you're not found insane, you would be sent to, she would have been sent to like a women's prison somewhere in the state. But mentally ill people do get sent to those places, to a regular prison, because they're found that they weren't insane when they did it. But they do have mental problems. But they're not just gonna put you there because you have mental problems. But Jeffrey's dad was like, "You need help. You don't need to be incarcerated. You don't need to be subject to the same thing that the other people who've committed crimes are subject to. You need to be treated." Whether he would ever get out or not, obviously, probably not. But it's just, it would be in maybe a better environment for him, is what he felt. But Jeffrey was against doing it because he's like, I wasn't insane. I knew what I was doing. I knew exactly what I was doing. It was just like, had this desire to do it. And so some people would have been like, you know what, I'm gonna be smart here though and play the role, even though it's hard to like trick all those professionals because they have been interviewed by people and they can tell, more or less. But some people can really play it up. I don't know how many get away with it, but someone like him, he already kind of confessed, and then he was resistant to doing it. So it wasn't going to work because he was going to eventually be like, probably fall out of character or whatever during the interview. So he was basically like, no. So obviously he was found saying that he wasn't, out of his mind when he was doing these crimes. So, and the scariest part about it is, you guys, is that either way, whether he was put in prison or an institution, he was gonna be off the streets because he was gonna not stop doing it. And the thing is, it was just like we got into a thing on in one of the groups I'm in about this one guy's like, because they were like, do you guys really think that Dahmer stopped, like, during, because you know how he had killed Stephen Hicks and then he didn't supposedly do no more until I guess when he went into his grandma's house or whatever. Like after he came back from the army, got kicked out of the army. But think about it. Based on his crime, like how he was doing it and what was driving him to do it, those desires and what his whole thing was. Do you really think he just stopped all those years? But the thing is, a lot of people were like, well, yeah, but he confessed to what he did, so why would he not admit it? It's like Gacy probably didn't admit all of them at first. He probably, I don't know, like, I forget what he said, but Bundy, all of them, like, they didn't just start saying, oh, well, I stopped and then I started doing it. Like, with Dahmer, he kind of was cut and dry, like, yeah, I did these things. And let me tell you about the first one. Let me tell you about the third. What would he have to gain by not saying he did more? He was already going to go to prison for life, so they don't have the death penalty in Milwaukee or in Wisconsin, so it wasn't like, well, if I don't say that, I'll get out. Like, he already had, like, enough victims where he was going to be in prison, so it's like he might as well, and he probably wasn't even thinking about it that way. He probably was just like, well, there's so much evidence, so many pictures in my drawer. And that brings me to my point. It's like I was saying, like the Grim Sleeper in LA. They say he did those murders in the 80s. Late 70s or 80s. Then he went on a hiatus with it and didn't do anymore until supposedly the late 90s. And I don't know what his kicks were. He wanted to humiliate and, like, degrade prostitutes. And he wanted to have sex with them and stuff. But the thing with his case that was a little strange, though, to me, was that they were putting pictures of people he hadn't even murdered. It was just, like, people that he took pictures of them, so it was weird in that respect. But they put them all public, all on TV and everything. Like, people that were like, I'm still alive, like, what? Like, but he had taken pictures of them, like, at parties and things like that. And but that we know of, he had those ones, and he wasn't. As far as I know, he wasn't copying to it, because when they showed his interrogation, he was like, "I don't know who that person is. I don't know who that person is. I don't know who that person is." He even tried to criticize some of them too, and it was like, "Bruh, that's the least of what you need to be talking about in here." That's what the guy was saying. The guy, but my thing is, I really don't believe he stopped, because he was in an environment where he could have went undetected. He went undetected as long as he did, and there's so that area is so rampant with like murders and stuff anyway, that and then the prostitute lifestyle in general is already like risky. So it's like those women, they couldn't just say, well, Jane Doe from 1991, he did it because that's his, he did other women that maybe live that lifestyle. So they didn't give and it was a similar type of thing as so that the Dahmer thing is kind of parallels in a way, because they were saying the police didn't really take it as serious either than those crimes either, because the environment, the area, the race of the victims, like there's a lot of different things. So the women mostly were, if you look at even his victims, they were mostly mugshots. So obviously they had been in with the law before. They were probably addicts, and some of them were addicts, some of them were runaways, some of them were prostitutes. So he had a surname who he went after. There was even one man that he killed, but then they're saying he went dormant all those years. Like, how do you just go dormant? Like, and B2K I heard was kind of similar. I don't know, but I don't those guys. I don't know their whole stories. I gotta read them and stuff. But so I'm saying that Dahmer, even though he did cop to what he did, we don't know if he didn't have any other victims. Because, like he said, he blacked out when he did the beating. But then when he came to, he was like, oh my God. And then they said, one of them, they tried to say it may have been an accident because he was trying to do CPR, but he couldn't. And the guy was already gone. The one he put in the suitcase. And he was like, yeah, I blacked out, Dad, because I was drunk. It wasn't because I was, like, in a different mindset, or mentally, like, oh, let me go into my other ego, or my other, her identity, or whatever. He was like, so the lawyer and them were trying to kind of get him to be like, help yourself here. Not necessarily because they didn't think he needed to pay for what he did, and, like, that he didn't do these horrible things. But they were like, basically, in prison, you're gonna be like, it's gonna be like when you went to jail for molesting the 13-year-old. You're gonna just be in there, and they're gonna leave you to your own devices to an extent. You start controlled. It's a controlled environment, but you're not gonna get the treatment you would get in a place where you're gonna be made to get treatment in those places. So it's like, I get where the dad is coming from, because it's like, that's his child at the end of the day still. They were angry what he did, and like what he did, they were ashamed what he did. He put shame on the name and everything. But they didn't want him, they didn't feel like prison was a place for him. And it's like, but I really feel the fact that he had no control of it, because he would have kept doing it if he was out. Look how he was doing it. Like, he literally didn't even take time. They're pointing out in the group that he didn't take time to even hide stuff in his apartment. He had the drill there dripping. He had the picture when the police went in his room to look for stuff. There are pictures in the drawer with the dead bodies all posed and stuff. Put in positions. It was like the smell, like he knew from the experience at the grandma's house, that there's a smell when I do this stuff. Because think about the first one, the first guy he killed. He made sure to get rid of that body because he knew, and his family lived on a big thing of land. They had a house on a big thing of land, so he could have didn't he? They say he tried to bury something in the backyard, like the animal things and stuff back then, but he probably just at that point didn't want to do that then. But for some reason, he had this weird thing with like just obviously keeping the bodies, which are gonna rot and everything. So he wasn't thinking like, oh my god, I can't keep these here because they're gonna smell like they did at my grandma's, you know. So something wasn't right with him. But and then also there's a lot of people who they are like diagnosed as mentally ill and they are still like, I don't need medication, I'm fine, I hear voices, I hear things, and they'll start arguing with people thinking the person's saying this when they're not saying that, and they'll just do all this stuff. They'll think that, oh, did you just say I'm the president of the United States, or did you say, things like that. And it's like they don't think they need anything. Like I have experience dealing with someone that was like that, you know. So he could have been that way. That was like, yeah, I mean, he had. They never say he didn't have any issues. No issues. They were saying he didn't fit criminally insane. Like he wasn't. Like they were saying he did what he did. He knew what he was doing. So that's basically why he went to regular jail. But yeah, I've never really. I mean, there's some who will admit, yeah, they'll admit, oh yeah, I take medication for this, and I have bipolar, I have schizophrenia, I have this. They'll admit it when they're in a certain state, but then when they're in another state, why do I have to take those pills? I don't need them. There's nothing. I don't need them. Like they'll argue with you all day long about it. So it's like I'm trying to see if maybe Jeffrey was more like that way. Like I am a little off, but. Because I don't know. I just look at like you did all these crimes. You're gonna do time forever for this. So why wouldn't you just go to a mental hospital, or facility? But he probably was just like, I can't do. He knew based on how it all came out. He knew that he wasn't gonna cooperate. That's why the dad was getting mad, and the lawyer's like, look, we gotta deal with what we're dealing with here. And it was just like this girl, this Lyft driver we were talking about one time. She was like, the thing is, nobody ever listened to him. He would try to say things, and I know this thing, just like the dad was telling his wife, like, I didn't want to know certain things. Even though I felt like something was a little off when he was young, I didn't want to know because it freaked me out. It scared me, So he admitted that, yeah, he clearly was trying to, and obviously when they were in the diner and Jeffrey's trying to say, I'm different, Dad, I'm weird, and blah, blah. You think maybe he says he didn't want to hear it because that's his child. He don't want to hear him putting himself down. And he had a habit of doing that. That's what the dad said in an interview. But also, it would force, I think, the dad and them to know that, oh, he does have weird, behaviors. Well, I can't put that in there right now. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get this dinner ready. It's gonna have. I may have another cup of coffee. I don't know. I don't want to do too much of that. I don't want to get too caffeinated this late. But yeah, you guys. So I'm gonna find something else to start watching. I don't know. I need a detox from the serial killer thing right now. Just because I think I almost had like a dream like about something like while I was sleeping earlier. I had like the best nap earlier. Perfect weather, just had a little soft like throw on me, and I was just laying there. I was just knocked out, and it was just perfect. And it was more like 2 or 3, like maybe, yeah, between 1 and 4, And I was just like, this is perfect. This is like my favorite time of year. It's cooling down. It's just so yeah, perfect nap weather. But yeah, so I'm gonna see what else I'm gonna watch though. But I hope you guys have a good Sunday night. And yeah, if you want to check out Dahmer, I think it is a good series. I think for me though, I just watched it up to the 8 because I just I'm good. I already know what happened to him after that, so it's like But anyway, guys, I do suggest watching it though, just to kind of know, and also to give you tips like don't. Be careful who you interact with, or more importantly, like, go with your gut. But sometimes that's not always people are good actors, but just, if someone has an attitude or some behavior you don't feel comfortable with, like at any point, even if they're just rude to you all the time or talking down to you or something, then cut ties. Don't go home with them. Don't hang out with them. Don't keep talking to them. See, they'll be better. Because to me, it's like if they're not related or nothing, you don't have to deal with them again. With family members, you're stuck. Like in some cases, because it is what it is. You're gonna inevitably hear something, and have to deal with them still. Depending, some people don't, but basically what I mean is you're not gonna be able to totally escape it. At least hearing about them. But with people, that you have a choice interacting with or not, and even family, you don't have to interact with them. But just don't put yourself in those around people or situations that don't feel right, don't feel good. But that's my TED talk right now. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good Sunday night. Bye.